I think the controversy here has more to do with people are lumping elderly drivers in a category and saying not safe to be on the road. But the reality is that we know as physicians that you can be dangerous on the road at any age. And certainly there's a concern because, get this, by 2030, U.S. drivers older than 65 is expected to double to 57 million. And the road safety analysts predict that these baby boomers will be responsible for 25% of fatal crashes. But now they're responsible for 11%.
But like you said, you can't just hang your hat on a simple number because it has a lot more to do with it. You know, both of my parents had to deal with this as they got into their 80s. Driving became a big issue. A time came where I had to put my foot down and say, I think you're done.
I mean, when they
forget to turn the car off, for example, it's sitting in the garage going. I mean, that's a sign that you're finished. But it's a very, very hard thing to do because you want them to stay independent. They feel independent. They want to still continue with their lives. But if a red flag springs up, you see something that obviously your parent, your elderly person in your family should not be driving, then you take the keys away.
I don't think you want to discriminate against, age and say that, just a certain age that everything is going to go wrong and that there's going to be an increased risk. I think it has to do with mental acuity. I think it has to do with reflexes and ability. Yeah. And I mean and just as that videotape pointed out, so many accidents actually occur in younger drivers and newer, inexperienced drivers. And anytime anything can happen, a person can have, go unconscious while they're driving.
Well, but this raises an interesting point. We were curious about this. We actually did a Facebook poll because you mentioned it. There are people who are 25 years of age who suffer from seizures who are not allowed to drive. There are teenagers on the road who probably shouldn't be on the road. The question, of course, is who is responsible for those individuals who maybe are not safe to drive, really maybe no matter what their age may be. And we wanted to know, so the Facebook poll, what did it reveal, Dr. Shears?
As you can see here, 76% of the people taking this poll thought it was mainly the driver's responsibility for these accidents. But then, the doctor, because actually, as physicians, you have the ability to take a license away from somebody that is incompetent. Maybe the driver's family, like you, Dr. Orton, had to do it. And then, obviously, the DMV plays a role because, you eventually got to go back in and take another driving test and get your license renewed. And, if you can't pass that test, then no license.
Well, you actually can't, as a doctor, you can't just revoke someone's license. You have to report them, and you can say, as part of your instructions, you should not be driving. But every state has a different set of rules. California has a law that says disorders characterized by lapses of consciousness, the doctor must report to local authorities, who then must report to DMV. In California, there are certain rules. If you're over the age of 70, you must renew in person every 5 years. There's a mandatory vision and writing test. And then you may be asked to take a driving test if there are any concerns, either related to the DMV. But a lot of states
they're different. And I just had a friend move back from Arizona. He showed me his driver's license. He said, look at the expiration date. And it was 2027. That's 15 years from now. Arizona. Yeah.
Really?
He's my age, so he's still pretty young. But a lot of things could happen in the next 15 years, and he still has his license.
So I think the takeaway here is that you can't always depend on the authorities. There are different mandates in different states. I think, Dr. Orton, you hit the nail on the head earlier. Sometimes it is up to family to say, look, it may not be that safe for you to be on the roads.